After connecting my receiver to this FMS Reflex system, I could see how it could be a little confusing, but if you set it up just like the directions say, it seems to work perfect. Let me show you guys.
Hey YouTube, it's Sean, Griffin RC Planes. So we've got the FMS 1220mm Ranger, and it comes with the Reflex system. This is a PNP airplane. That stands for plug and play. So you need to add your own radio transmitter and your own receiver. But the Reflex system that comes inside of it is the gyro for stabilization and the self-leveling. FMS's version of Safe Select and AS3X. So all you need is a basic receiver, 5 channels or more, and you can pick those up for $20, and then you connect that receiver to the Reflex system that's inside, and now you have a plane with a gyro for stability, and you have the option to turn the self-leveling, we'll call it safe, on and off. Very similar to what we're all used to with our E-flite binding flies. So this is my friend's plane, and we did a repair on it in the previous video. We fixed the front landing gear wheel, replaced it, and he said that the instruction manual, it was pretty hard to understand or easy to get confused on how to connect the Reflex to the receiver. So I say we go through it all, and we'll just see if it is confusing or if it's maybe easily you can get confused or what. We'll just pick on my friend maybe, or maybe not. So let's just see what it takes to connect the Reflex to a receiver. That way everybody knows. So, and we can all learn something out of it. We get a little, what else you got to do for the next 20 minutes or so? My dog gave me an hour, so it takes an hour to make a 20-minute video. So on your mark, get set, go. That means me. Okay. All right. Hang on. If you want to win a jet like this, all you have to do is subscribe. Click the like button and leave a comment. And then ring the bell so you don't miss my next video. At 1,000 subscribers, we gave this jet away. At 5,000, we're going to give another one. I don't know what it is yet. We'll see when that time comes. So hey, subscribe guys. Happy flying.
All right, so we have a FMS Ranger in the lineup. We have a basic transmitter. We have a basic receiver. No gyro, no safe, no nothing. You push the throttle up, it gives a throttle. You push the right stick to the right, moves the aileron to the right. That's it. Battery pack, a couple servo extensions just so we can power up the receivers and so forth, and the manual. So let's take a look at this Reflex. Here's our Reflex, this orange device inside the belly of the airplane, and a really short, the ins and the outs about it is that you connect your transmitter to your receiver. You plug this Reflex into your receiver, and the Reflex controls the airplane. So your command from the transmitter is going to give a command to the receiver. The receiver is going to give a signal to the Reflex, and the Reflex controls all the servos. Okay, looking at the Reflex real quick, on the right-hand side right here where I'm touching, from the top down to the bottom, it says channel 1, channel 2, channel 3, channel 4. And then this next line right here says S-bus and PPM mode. We'll get into that later on. And then on the left-hand side of it, it says aileron, elevator, throttle, and rudder. The instructions out that's in the manual that came with the plane. We're going to be using this illustration on the bottom right here, and it says PWM connection. So that's what our receivers are, is a PWM, pulse width modulation. That's the signal they send from the receiver to our servos to tell them to do stuff. and it says connect the throttle and flight surface channels to their corresponding ports in the Reflex. Connect a 3-wire cable from the channel that is controlled by your 3-position switch to the S-bus port on the Reflex so that we can control the gyro mode. In the Reflex functions, 3 flight modes: stabilized, optimized, and off. So we have our safe, AS3X only, and nothing. So let's get our receiver out. We'll bind it up and then we'll plug it up. We're going to bind up our AR610 real quick. I got just a servo plugged up into it so we can make sure that we're bound. Receiver's flashing. Bind button down. Transmitter on. Bound. Nope, not bound. I was too close. So, all right, receiver's flashing. Bind button. Holding it a couple feet away. Bind button released. And now it's bound up. All right, so transmitter off, receiver off, bind plug out. We're going to connect our receiver we just bound up to, and it says to take the aileron channel from the receiver and plug it into number 1 of the Reflex. Take the elevator from the receiver, plug it into 2. Take the throttle from the receiver and plug it into 3. Take the rudder from the receiver, plug it into 4. Our receiver needs to stay exactly how it is. The number 1, 2, 3, and 4 is on the Reflex. So that may have been how my friend got confused. Channel 1 is throttle, channel 2 is aileron, 3 is elevator, 4 is rudder. Focus. All right, let's connect our receiver to the Reflex. Number 1 on the Reflex said to connect the aileron to. So on this receiver here, bind, throttle, and aileron. So it would be channel 2. Right there. And then number 2 on the Reflex is the elevator. So in our receiver, plug that. It also says elevator on the little flag there. And then number 4 on the Reflex, or number 3 on the Reflex, is throttle, and it's labeled throttle. Now that goes down here, and the throttle channel. And then number 4 on the Reflex is the rudder. And then number 5 in the Reflex is to operate the gyro. And we know on this DXE transmitter that the safe select is operated on the gear channel. So we'll plug that one into the gear. Maybe. There we go. All right, so our receiver is connected to the Reflex. The receiver didn't go in order with the Reflex, and that may be how people can get confused, because number 1 on the Reflex, which is up here at the top, number 1 on the Reflex up here at the top said to plug the ailerons into it, and then number 2 on the Reflex said to plug the elevator, and then number 3 on the Reflex said to plug the throttle. So they're not quite, they're not in order compared to the receiver. So now we have the receiver connected to the Reflex. It's all hooked up as per the directions. I'm aware that we don't have any wings. We'll get some wings if we feel we need to. So let's plug it up and we'll see at least the elevator and the rudder, and then we'll verify some other operations here. So the elevator has done a couple dances, and give it just a little bit of throttle here. All right, so we have throttle, so we know it's connected right in that means. And the elevator is backwards. I was trying to see if that could be on my part right there. So the elevator needs to be reversed in the transmitter, and the rudder is backwards also. I grabbed my tablet and my Bluetooth module for the DXE, and I'm gonna reverse the direction of the flight controls real quick. So got the app pulled up here. I'm gonna get in here and oops, I think I hit the button one too many times. Okay, settings, transmitter settings, I believe. Nope. Model setup, channel setup, aileron. Need to reverse. Well, we don't know about the ailerons. My bad. Elevator, reverse, done. Rudder, reverse, done. So let's leave it like that. And then I'm going to hit disconnect. Take the Bluetooth module out. And then we'll plug the plane up again. Transmitter still on. And we'll see if our flight controls are still backwards. Takes a minute to arm for some reason. Throttle down all the way. You know what? It might need to be rebound just because of how I hit reset and stuff inside the inside the transmitter right there. So bind plug in hand. So flashing, bind button, transmitter on. Bind button off. All right. I need to take our bind plug out. Let me take our bind plug out so we don't mess things up. Now the control surface directions are right. So elevator and rudder. All right. So the DXE programmer app saved our day real quick on reversing the directions. There's no telling what I had programmed the DXE to previously, so we may have to do the ailerons. We'll see. So we know for a fact that the elevator's working, and the rudder, and the throttle. Now let's see if our flight modes change. It said something about some lights. All right, so you can see we have a red light on the Reflex, and the gear switch on the DXE controls the flight modes. So right now we're at forward in the 0 position. I'm going to put in the middle. And the light is flashing. Now I'm going to pull it back to position 2. And it's blinking rather quickly. So let's look at the instruction manual real quick and see what the flashing and non-flashing means. I'm doing this for the first time just like you guys are. So okay, here we are down at the bottom. Note, gyro LED on, stabilize mode. Gyro LED flash, slowly, gyro off, rapid flash optimized mode. So we have all three flight modes already working. So looking at the rudder and the elevator, we ought to be able to see what flight modes are in, or what it's doing real quick. So we got a rapid flash, which is optimized, and the steady is the stabilized mode. Let's take a look at it here. So let's look at the rudder here to see the gyro in action. When I move the plane, the rudder moves in the correct direction, and the elevator does too. When I lift the plane up, the elevator goes up. When I point it down, it goes down. So the stabilization is all working. You can hear the servo. So we don't need to connect any wings. The system is set up and is working just like it is supposed to. So the only thing you can get maybe kind of confused on is how, well, let me show you here. That could easily be confusing is how on the reflex system, it says on channel 1 of the reflex to plug your ailerons into it. And then in channel 2 on the reflex, it says to plug your elevator. Channel 3 on the reflex, it says to plug your throttle. Channel 4 of the reflex, it says to plug your rudder. Channel 5 of the reflex to plug your servo, flight mode, whatever gear channel that your switch is going to turn the flight modes on and off with. So I even kind of got a little confused for a second because we're following the receiver, and the receiver does not match up in the order of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just like it does on the reflex versus the receiver. So anyways, if you plug up things like the directions say to, on the reflex, 1 is aileron, 2 is elevator, 3 is throttle, 4 is rudder, 5 is your switch, gear switch, whatever, to operate the flight modes. And then on the left hand side of the reflex is what goes to the servos in the airplane. So on the left hand side of the reflex, on top, aileron, elevator, throttle, and rudder coming out of the reflex. So I say everything's working just like it's supposed to. We had to reverse the directions of the servos in the transmitter. The DXE programmer app and the Bluetooth module made quick work of that. And there's many other settings in that app for the DXE transmitter. The DXE transmitter has a bunch of capabilities. It can do just about everything that a DX7 can do, but no screen. The screen of the transmitter is your tablet or your phone. Think about it that way. Here, I'll pull that app up again real quick. So tablet here, DXE programmer, settings. You can set up dual rates, the model setup, wing type, flight mode setup, throttle cut, channel setup, just like you saw that how we reversed the elevator and the rudder. Now look here, look how many channels the DXE transmitter puts out. Throttle, aileron, elevator, rudder, gear, aux1, aux2. 7 channels come out of the DXE. Pretty capable. All right, guys. Hey, if you got anything out of my videos, a laugh, a cry, a help, killed 20 minutes of your time, make sure that you're still subscribed. Give me a thumbs up. Really helps out the YouTube algorithm, and it's the only way to support what I do. So thank you so much. All right, guys. Hey, the reflex system seems to be A-OK to set up, in my opinion. So that's all for this one. Until next time, you'll see me here